There are a lot of podcasts out there, but only one with this kind of energy.
Welcome to EVP Show Recaps, Predictions, Sports. Let go, show recaps, predictions, sports.
In one podcast.
Welcome to EVP Show Recaps, Predictions, Sports. Let go.
What's going on, everybody? It's EVP from the EVP Show, and we are live for Doubleheader Sunday. The first part was just Sunday Night Scoops with the EVP. Hope you guys had a good weekend. I am starting a little bit early. kind of a hectic rush today, so definitely wanted to try to come on and get some news out, and obviously take some questions and stuff. So I wanted to kind of start early. So, like I said, this is the start of the PLE week. We have Saturday night's main event coming up this Saturday. I believe it's from Fort Wayne, Indiana. The match card pretty much set. Looks like there should be adding one more match. Probably get added tomorrow after Raw. If not, then there's a possibility that it could be added Friday on SmackDown. But yeah, so I guess we can start off with some Saturday night's main events. Well, no, I'll get back to the Saturday night main event stuff. I need to post it on live. Obviously, like I said, I'm doing this from a weird location. I am actually doing this from my vehicle today, so let's see. Kind of let everybody know that we're live. I have better Wi-Fi out here, so gonna go ahead and. This may not be as long as an episode. Obviously, we'll see. We'll see what kind of people we get in here. And just kind of go from there on that. Let's start off with. We don't have anybody in here yet, so. But we're gonna go ahead and get started soon. So, let's start with. Let me make sure that the people that normally come in. Let's start off with some Asuka news. So, obviously, it's been a lot of stuff going on in the world of professional wrestling. This is a crazy time of year. But before we talk about Asuka, I just want to say that, Ronda Rousey, I've seen everything online. Obviously, it was a 17-second fight. Kind of hard to rig that, honestly. I pretty much could tell you that she was going to make her tap out with an armbar within a minute. So it really doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure that out. Yeah, I am early. Want to go ahead and get started. I started early today, so yeah. But I've seen all this stuff online. Obviously, I understand. It was on Netflix. Obviously, if you paid money to go there, the card was definitely underwhelming for me. I watched the entire card. But as far as being choreographed or rigged like WWE or like a scripted sport, I don't know. It did look pretty. It looked a little fishy, but that's how Ronda's won 75% or 80% of her matches in UFC or MMA, whatever you want to call it. So that's kind of the MO for Ronda. She doesn't like to go a long time. Go look at some of her other wins. Obviously, she won less than a minute. So that's what she likes to do. She likes to get you on the ground and put you in that arm bar and make you tap. So, like I said, I'm not going to go as far as to say it was rigged, but I don't think it's that. But, they both were paid well. So, if that's the end for Ronda, then, it's definitely, I would rather see somebody go out on top, but, it is what it is. So, I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on that, obviously. I'm sure it was a big topic last night. So, are you able to hear me pretty good, Fanatic, or what? obviously this is a big week for my channel. It's a 7-day week. This is we will be doing Saturday night's main event prediction Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Eastern. Hoping that we have our 4th match announced by tomorrow. But I'll go ahead and start with some Asuka news. So yes, you are. Okay, perfect. So you say you can hear me. You can hear me good because somebody said my live stream was kind of like in and out. So, yes, you're on the panel. So let's see. I can word this. I don't want to misquote or mislead anyone. So I'm just gonna give you some of the information that I was told about the Asuka situation. So I think there's a lot of layers to this story. With Asuka, I think that at the end of the day, Asuka is, on up there in age, in the 40s, 43, 44 years old, something like that. And she has been in WWE for a while. So, like I said, I don't think that this is a. I think this kind of stems from a lot of things. Obviously, she's 44 years old. WWE just released Kairi Sane, which obviously if you follow Kairi, then she just. It looks like she recently, or I don't know. A lot of people are saying that she just recently followed Tony Khan. We'll see what happens with that. I mean, she deserves to still wrestle, so I think that'd be great if she could, sign with AEW. But I'm gonna just go back to what I was told about Asuka. So, like I said, WWE didn't release all the names of the people that they reached out to about taking a pay cut, but just let me remind you that there was a core group that WWE reached out to in 2024 for contract. They did contract extensions for 3 to 4 years. Well, a couple of them people were legends and obviously, going to be Hall of Famers, obviously. 2 of them were just, made big news when were released by WWE. Obviously, they were asked to take a pay cut. They said no. And now it looks like they'll probably be signing with the AEW. So that was a New Day. So you guys have to think about this from a business aspect. Like, I don't like pay cuts and roster and all that stuff. But this is for what I was told. Like I said, I'm just going off the information that I was told. This looks like a situation where WWE reached out to Asuka, about a pay cut, and it looks like that, she is kind of mulling over a lot of things. Obviously, she's probably mulling over the pay cut. Like I said, I don't have direct, absolute 100%, notification on that. But I'm pretty sure this is 100% accurate. She's definitely mulling over stuff. But I think it's a mixture of a lot of things. Obviously, Kyrie was just released, in the middle of a big ass storyline with, her and Io Sky, obviously, and Kyrie that never got to be paid off. So, she's frustrated, obviously, about that. But like I said, you have to go back and, if you see anything about contracts or know anything about contracts, like she's in her top 40s, and 43, 44 years old. So, WWE is trying to shed some payroll. So, obviously they went to the New Day for a pay cut. I have it on pretty good authority. It's probably the same concept with Asuka. They asked her to take a pay cut. So I think that she's, in my opinion, from what I was told, I think that she is mulling it over. Plus there's some personal stuff that she had to take care of in Japan, obviously. But I don't think I don't know, but I don't think we've seen the last of her. I think, I don't know. We'll see what she decides. I think, like I said, she has a lot of things going on. Personally, you know, she's probably mulling over something about whether she wants to take a pay cut or not at her age, and come back and finish off her career. I mean, she's a Hall of Famer, multi-time tag team champion, Royal Rumble winner, women's champion. So she's done it all, you know. So I don't know what she really has left to prove. And then obviously, it also has a lot to do with creative. I just don't think there's anything left for her creatively after the whole Io and Kairi Sane thing. So, and obviously Kairi was released, so she's obviously upset about that. So, like I said, we could see Asuka back on WWE television, but I think it's going to be a while. I think she deserves to take her time off, like figure out what she wants to do. I think WWE respects her enough to let her do that. Because I know that that will cause a lot of negative backlash that they really don't want to do. So, I think that they let her just, you know, take her time and figure out what she wants to do. But I'd be willing to bet that she's definitely one of the people that was approached with a pay cut. She was in that group, the 2024 extension group. Like I said, the New Day was a part of that, where they were, you know, extended out for 3 to 4 years and pretty decent sized money. So, like I said, WWE trying to shed payroll. So that's what I have on Asuka. I don't have anything further. I'm not going to speculate. I don't, you know, no, I've never spoken with Asuka. I've never, you know, personally met Asuka, seen her wrestle, but you know, that's pretty much it. I'm not going to go any further than that because, like I said, I'm just giving the information that I was provided. So I just want the best for whatever, you know, she decides or whatever she wants to do with her career. She's a Hall of Famer at this point. So, but much respect and much love to Asuka for that. So let's talk about the John Cena Memorial Classic. I kind of touched on this on last week's Scoops. Obviously, you know, I believe it was before Backlash when I did the show. I think it was. It might have been after Backlash. I can't remember. I have my days mixed up sometimes, but I touched on this. Like, obviously, the John Cena stuff, you know, this is going to probably this is more likely going to take place in December. I said this last week on Scoops. To kind of touch on it again. This was not the original plan. It was supposed to be some Club WWE stuff. That's why they don't have all the groundwork for this stuff yet. So, like I said, this is more of a pivot. You know, we said this was going to be something groundbreaking, earth shattering. So Triple H loves to do that, and when he does, obviously, you know, a lot of people just say he's talking shit, or you know, he doesn't know what he's talking about because he likes to say new era all the time, earth shattering news and groundbreaking. And, you know, they didn't want it to just come out with the Club WWE stuff, so they had to pivot. I don't really have much more information besides they're gonna center it and make it look like a American Idol contest, basically. That's what it looks like. It looks like it's gonna be a men's and a women's. It's just gonna be whoever they want, you know. I don't know if this is the direction that they want to go for Oba. I don't think so. But we'll see. I just can tell you for 100% fact this wasn't original plans because that's why they don't have anything extra stone right now for this tournament. So Triple H, he loves to stay online. He's got multiple burners. I've told you guys, in one-on-ones and in group chats, he's got a lot of burner accounts. So they do pay attention to everything that's said online, whether they say they do or not. They do 100%. Obviously, we saw it today on X. Obviously, it's not really breaking news or anything like that. Io Sky and obviously Evil are married. That's, I've talked about that before. It's not really, earth-shattering news. WWE did a really terrible job Friday on SmackDown of kind of hiding where the direction for where they were going to go Saturday night's main event. With Nia Jackson, Lash Legend, obviously saying, "Oh, we want to match the Saturday night's main event." Well, a lot of people are saying, "Oh, well, they're not going to be facing Judgment Day." So, and that's because we're more than likely 99.9% getting a Stephanie McCoy return on Raw. That's why they haven't done shit with Liv yet. They're waiting on Nikki to come back. They're waiting on Stephanie to come back. They're just creatively, her title reigns are no different than Stephanie's title reign or anybody else's title reign on the women's side, because the last time that Liv was champion, she had no creative at all. It was all centered around Rhea Ripley. She has a few people she could face, obviously. Io Sky being one of them. I heard rumors that they may want to put Io involved with the Becky story, but I don't think that's where they're going. I'm going to stick with my original story that I think we're headed for a Sol Ruka Becky Lynch match, whether it happens at Italy or Night of Champions. It's going to be one of the two. And I can tell you right now, Sol Ruka taking that Intercontinental Championship from Becky Lynch. She's on the back end of her final deal, final run in WWE. So maybe she gets one last run at the title. I don't know. I haven't heard anything creatively with Becky besides, passing the torch on to someone like Sol Ruka. And I think they can do a better job of just, they've been telling the story a little bit, so I think they have time. I wouldn't mind seeing it go all the way to Night of Champions. But there's going to be a lot of people wanting to see it on the card for Clash in Italy, but I don't know if it makes the card. I saw at least 5 to 6 matches for Clash in Italy. We're going to get Rhea and Jade. That's 100% happening in Italy for the Women's SmackDown title. Obviously, Cody and Gunther. I believe we're getting Roman and Jacob as well. I just don't know how they're going to do it because Cody's on the poster. So I don't know what they're going to do. I don't know if they pivoted from Roman and Jacob. I don't think so. Roman's doing a promo tomorrow. Last I was told, they're still doing it there. But they both can't main event. So I don't know how they're going to do that. You can't. I don't know. That's why I'm a little bit concerned. Maybe are they really going to do Roman Jacob at Italy? Because, like I said, I mean, I don't know. I don't know how they do that with Gunther being Europe from the European and all that. So I don't know how they do that. I've been telling you guys, like, it's either going to go one or two. Well, let's go back to the matches. Obviously, I still think we get Roman Jacob. I just don't know how they're going to do it as far as match order. I don't think they're going to have Roman and Cody and Gunther opening. They could, but so Randy's advertised. Obviously, I saw he debunked, Meltzer's rumor. Something Meltzer put out about the back injury. I could tell you that he was a little hurt. So I don't know if that was Randy just, like I said, there was some sort of injury. I don't know how serious it was. I wasn't told it was very, super serious, but Randy was in character when he debunked that. So, like I said, he's advertised for the SmackDown after Italy and Barcelona. So Cody and Gunther are either going one or two ways. Cody's not winning clean. I've seen a lot of stuff online. It's not happening. Triple H is really high on Gunther. He loves Gunther. You know, if Randy's advertised for the Barcelona SmackDown after Italy. So I don't know what we do here. Cody can't beat Gunther clean. You know, they're booking Gunther really strong. He retired, you know, went on this career killer gimmick and all that. So either Gunther wins the title or Randy calls it a DQ. That's the only thing I can think of that could possibly happen with it. That's the only way creatively they can go with this is Gunther either wins the title. And that just means Randy is more hurt than we think because he punt kicked Cody at the end of WrestleMania. So we've had no payoff from that. So I don't care what he says, Randy says, you know, coming online and debunking stuff, there's something going on. Obviously, he's been off TV since WrestleMania. I mean, it could have been just taking time off too, but I think there was a little bit. I think he was really a little bit banged up. I don't think it's as serious as, you know, it's being put out there. But like I said, I do think that Randy had, you know, maybe some stuff that he's working through and stuff. You know, from a health standpoint, but I don't know what they're gonna do. They're keeping that information pretty ground zero. I can't get that information up. I don't usually ask for PLE winners. I don't because like, what's the point of me watching the PLE if I already know who's gonna win? I'm just telling you from, you know, just a fan's perspective, there's only two ways they can go with it. You know, you got to get Randy back in the storyline. Either Randy might cost Cody. I don't know. That's another way that they could go. But that doesn't make sense for me personally. I think Randy needs to be the one to take the title off of Cody. Randy won his first title at SummerSlam. Winning 15 at SummerSlam would be historic. It didn't happen at Mania. Obviously, it was supposed to happen, but it pivoted. So having Randy beat Cody at SummerSlam, like for me, that's the play there. But could they have Gunther win it? They could, but if they do that, then Randy's not getting the title back for a while. So that would mean that he's really hurt and he's not coming back to TV. I don't think that's the direction, unless they just want to run Cody and Randy non-title, and I don't think Randy has that much time left to. I mean, I'm not saying he's about to retire right now, but I don't think they're going to do a Cody and Randy storyline without the title. I just don't think they're going to do that. That's creatively they're in this rut on SmackDown, and you can't have Gunther lose though. Gunther can't take the pin clean to Cody. You can't do that. So either Gunther wins the title with help from Randy, and maybe they do run a Randy and Cody storyline without the title. I don't think so personally. I think Randy and Cody's gonna happen at SummerSlam. I think that's where Randy ends up winning 15. That's my personal opinion. That's not from a source. That's from my personal opinion about what I'm watching on TV and what I've been watching. I don't know. That seems to be the best play. I don't mind Gunther winning the title, but a lot of people don't like his character. So I don't, you know, me personally, I don't care which direction they go. But I think he needs to go heel Cody at the end of the day. So I don't know if they're gonna pull the trigger on that. They're teasing something with Heyman. We'll see. I have a hard time believing that they're going to pull the trigger on it right now. I think that backstage there's a lot with him and not want to go heel and stuff like that. So we'll see. I think it's definitely time for a character change for sure. So, like I said last I was told, I know we're getting Rhea Jade. I was told we're getting Roman Jacob, but I don't know that. I mean, they got Randy. I mean, they have Gunther Cody on the poster, so I'm hoping they don't pivot from that and move it to. I mean, where they're going to move it to, because I'm not 100% sold that Roman's working night at champion, but I'm not 100% sold he's not either. We'll see. I know they said, oh, he's not working any dates in June, but I knew that wasn't true. Like, oh, we fabricated we misjudged the graphics and all that. That's all bullshit. I don't know. I don't know how they do it. They could co-main event, but obviously they would want a women's match involved in there. I don't blame them on that. So we'll see. We'll see what happens tomorrow on Raw. I do think they got to run Jacob Roman again. Jacob's still probably not winning the title. So I know there's a lot of people online that's pushing for that, but it's not happening. So I know he's a beast, and I think he's great. I think he's really good. And he's gonna be really good for a while on that top tier card. But I also just don't think they're taking the title off Roman Reigns right now. I just don't see it happening. I don't. So I don't know. Is this a feud they could push all the way to SummerSlam? Possibly. I think there's going to be somebody else from the family that Roman has to eventually get into a feud with, but we'll see. WWE is paying close attention to the content creators, so they're really making it difficult now. When it wasn't as difficult, but they're really going out of their way to make shit difficult now. So, we're gonna get a couple women's matches in Italy. I was told that WWE really wants to do something with Julia, so I don't know. I feel like they got to kind of. They kind of did this with Drew. I believe it was Piper Niven as well, their home country and all that. Julia's got a lot of Italian roots. I don't know. I guess they could do Tiffany Julia again. I was told that that's a high possibility. It's in Italy. Julia is not winning the title back, but I think it'd be something good for her. They don't have anything for her. They put her back in the tag team turmoil vortex with all the rest of the single stars just caught up in that. We saw a tease with Charlotte and Jade. I would look for that match to happen within the next 4 to 6 months, something like that. Is it going to be for a title? I don't think so. Obviously, it's posted by Fightful and WrestleVotes and all that WWE is going with Fatal Influence creatively due to the crowd, which is not really a shock because JC Jane was already being pushed pretty heavily before those reports come out. So obviously she's already scored a pinfall victory over Charlotte. Alexa as well in the tag match. She didn't get pinned by Rhea. That could be our Night of Champions women's match. Rhea versus JC for the women's title. Possibly. Unless they just really want to push JC and make this go to SummerSlam. I don't think so, though. I think it happens at Night of Champions. We'll see. Let's see what else I wanted to talk about today. There's been a lot of stuff going on. So Saturday night's main event, don't expect much more from what we have. We have the 3 matches. We have, Penta and Ethan Page, which if Ethan doesn't win a Saturday night's main event, which I think he could, he's definitely dropping the title to Ethan. Look for Ethan to win. He's going to win that Intercontinental Championship, whether it's in that single one-on-one or they end up doing that fatal 4-way where Penta doesn't have to be pinned. I think that's also a possibility of what they could possibly do to keep Penta strong. So, I don't know. It's really hard to say, but Saturday night's main event, don't expect much more. We're going to get Penta, Ethan. We're going to get Logan Paul and Austin Theory versus the Street Profits. We're going to get Charlotte, Rhea, and Alexa against Jade, Michin, and B5. And I think we're getting a tag title match. I don't think anything else happens at Saturday Night's Main Event. Don't expect it to be over. I mean, could we get a Jacob J? Possibly. If they want to put some star power on there. I think the card is very. I mean, I love Penta and Ethan, but I think the card right now for me is a little underwhelming. But having the run 3 PLEs in May, and then a back-to-back with Saturday Night's Main Event, and then enter in Italy the next Sunday, it's difficult to put star power on every single card. So Saturday Night's Main Event's never really been about that. So, definitely don't get too excited about Saturday Night's Main Event. It's not going to be, your five-star PLE. So, but I expect Turin to be a lot better than Saturday Night's Main Event. I think it should be better than Backlash, but I do still think they're gonna do Liv Stephanie there. I really do. I think that's kind of been the plan, but Stephanie was out, so they didn't know how long she was gonna be out. That's why they haven't moved forward with any storylines for Liv. But obviously, Liv's biggest storyline is going to come within like the Judgment Day when they finally do pull the trigger with Roxanne and have Roxanne turn and go back babyface. Obviously, I think that's a SummerSlam match. I think it's Roxanne and Liv for the Women's Championship at SummerSlam. It makes way too much sense for me personally. So there's been a lot of speculation. Obviously, I can tell you that Amos is probably coming back. Obviously, I think that's who the whole Danhausen thing was about Friday. I think he's coming back. I've seen the rumors online about Baron Corbin. I haven't really been. I've heard a little bit about it, but I don't think there's anything in stone with that. I think it's kind of a possibility. I don't think it's anything extra in stone. Like I said, he does hold a title at some promotion. I don't know, indie promotion, I believe. So like I said, I wouldn't hold too much weight on that right now. I wouldn't be surprised if with the whole Obafemi situation, this open challenge is gonna overbook itself. So I wouldn't be surprised to see someone like a Sheamus answer this, or somebody strong. Like Oba needs to start, Oba needs to keep the momentum going. So Sheamus would be great. I was told yesterday, and obviously it was also reported online as well. It looks like Drew McIntyre, when he comes back, he could be headed to the Raw roster, which would be a good shakeup. Obviously, it's another heel to go after Roman, I feel like. I don't know if that would be the plan, but we could also get the payoff for the Drew Oba that happened at Saturday Night's Main Event when Oba faced Cody. So could Drew come back and answer the challenge? I mean, open challenge is a possibility. So I think the possibilities are endless with the whole Oba situation. I think they already, I don't know. I don't want to say they missed their shot, but I think they could have, they could have had something set up a little better than this open challenge stuff. I think there's a lot of people that's not really happy about this open challenge stuff. Ultimately, I don't think Roman drops the title until he loses to Oba, unless they go a different direction, which I don't think they will. How soon that would be, I don't think it's that soon. I think Roman holds the title till end of the year, possibly beginning of next year. Or, I mean, I guess he could hold it all the way to Mania. I don't think so, though. I don't think Roman and Rock needs to be for a title. If they're able to lock that in, I still haven't been told that that's 100% confirmed, but highly wanted by the Saudi Arabians, so we'll see. I don't have 100% confirmation on that, but I still think that is the direction they want to go. But if they do, that doesn't need a title, so that would be Rock's last match It could be the high chief versus the tribal chief. Roman's obviously they trademarked the head of the table, so there's something going on with that. And I think that's obviously gonna have something to do with The Rock, but you can't put The Rock on TV right now because he's not. It just doesn't make sense with the story. Like it's gonna have to. Roman's gonna have to feud with a lot of people from the family in order to get The Rock finally back. If you bring him back now, I think it's too soon. So, but I don't think it needs a title. So that's just my opinion. Will they do it for a title? Possibly, but I don't think so. I don't think they can go too terribly long without putting that title on Oba. If it would have been anybody else, I would have said, man, they should have capitalized on this. Like maybe the Raw after WrestleMania, they already teased. Oba brought up Roman's name. Roman brought up Oba's name at the press conference. But at the end of the day, they haven't went back to that yet. So I don't know. I think that WWE could wait too long with Oba, so you can't do it too soon, and you can't wait too long at the same time. If that makes sense. I think this challenge that he's doing, open challenge, it's already. I mean, there's nobody to answer it. So like he had to go backstage and get them last week and pull them out. Like it's already, they need to bring out a star. Somebody that's returning, whether it's Amos or whether it's Sheamus or Drew or whoever, somebody big needs to answer this challenge. And we got to get Oba in like a bigger program than the stuff that's going on Raw. The open challenge stuff is not going to cut it for him. So yeah, obviously it's been speculated. I've talked about it on Scoop several times. Carmella is not done. I don't know when she's coming back, but I know for a fact that she's planning a return at some point. So I know it's posted. She posted something with Bailey. I saw that. I've been talking about Carmella for a couple of weeks on this show. So don't be surprised. Like I said, I don't have an exact date, but don't be surprised if we haven't seen the last of Carmella. So NXT stuff. Obviously, I talked about this in my group chat on Twitter, X, whatever you guys call it. There should be some more call-ups. I don't know when it's gonna happen. I don't. I've been told it's only women that I've been told as of now. It's only a few more. I think we could get the Kalani's, maybe the Jada Parkers, Bola maybe when she drops the title. Possibly Tatum Paxley, which I thought she would come up before, Elaine Reed, but I love that they called them all up now. I didn't want them to do it at first, but I do love that they made that move because I think they're better all together now. But I do believe that Tatum Paxley is definitely main roster ready. I've still been told that the Blake Tiffany stuff is definitely still supposed to happen at SummerSlam. So Blake was in a dark match Friday, so I think she could be on SmackDown Friday. If not, she's coming really, really soon. So I'm just hoping WWE doesn't. I hope they do a lot better job with her creatively than they did on NXT. I don't think they did that great of a job with Blake on NXT. So I think Tiffany can elevate the US title though. And obviously, if you guys can't tell, they're running the same storyline with Tiffany Stratton and Chelsea that they did with Charlotte and Alexa. Oh, we're not friends. Same storyline. Rinse and repeat. one-on-one like WWE likes to do on WWE television. So that's the storyline we're running with that. We're not friends. So yeah, that's kind of how we're going with that. I know there's some people that's been messaging me asking me about the Tiffany Chelsea thing. That's looks like that's what they're doing. They're running the "we're not friends" storyline. Eventually, you know, we could see them together. I don't think Chelsea's taking the title off of Tiffany, which I love Chelsea. I just don't think that's going to happen right now. I do think Tiffany can elevate their U.S. title though. I don't know. I thought a move for Julia to be paired up with maybe an Oscar or something like that on Raw would be beneficial, but I don't know when Oscar's coming back or if she is going to come back. So, I was definitely worried for Julia because I don't know, what the big plans are creatively for her. So, obviously after the Tiffany Stratton match, which I still think happens in Italy, because she has all the Italian roots and stuff like that. Just WWE loves to do that. I don't know. Her and Kiana hasn't officially broken up yet, which that's definitely where their head is. So I know a lot of people are pushing for Tony D and Miles Bourne and all them to get called up. It's too soon. NXT was just gutted. You can't do that right now. It's too many LFG and Evolve and WID stars on NXT, which I think NXT is great, but they're nowhere ready for a Tony D and a Miles Bourne or somebody like that to get called up. You guys are pushing way too fast for these stars to come up. They're not going to do it. They're not bringing Tony D up. I wouldn't be surprised if Mike Santana doesn't end up on the main roster or NXT though. His contract's obviously coming up in summertime, so I wouldn't be surprised if he's not on WWE television or NXT, one of the two. I haven't been told which one, but I think he's definitely coming into work for them. He's in TNA right now, but he's kind of done everything that he could do in TNA. So I do expect him. I wouldn't be surprised if he's on the main roster. Obviously, the Royce Keys stuff. Like I said, Randy's definitely. I don't care what he can. I'm not taking up for Dave, but there's definitely some truth that he is a little injured because they completely pivoted away from the Cody Randy stuff. I mean, there was no follow up from him getting punted at WrestleMania, so they pivoted to Cody Gunther. Why? Because of Randy. So there's definitely some truth to that. He was in character, so. But I think he interferes. I think he gets involved, whether he costs Cody or he causes a DQ. I would expect him back in this title picture really soon. So, I think they need to do Randy and Cody at SummerSlam, have Randy win 15 there. And then I guess they could have Cody, go off TV for a while and come back with character change. I don't know what they're going to do with him, honestly. SmackDown's really bad right now, so SmackDown should be going back to 2 hours, I believe, in a couple of weeks. Because Braun Strowman's new show is about to start up, so that's kind of why obviously it's a contract they have with USA, but I believe SmackDown will be back to 2 hours in the next couple of weeks. But because Braun Strowman's show starts I think it's like June 2nd or something like that. So expect SmackDown to be back to 2 hours, which I think they need to do. I think they need to stay at 2 hours, but they won't because of the contract they have with USA. But SmackDown's just been really freaking bad. So yeah, kind of went through everything. A lot of stuff's already been talked about WrestleBoats or Fightful. But I wanted to start a little bit earlier so that I could open up the Q&A obviously a little bit sooner. I've already talked about the John Cena stuff. We're going to get 5 to 6 matches in turn. Obviously, it's early start time, so I like that. We're going back to a Sunday PLE. I'm happy about that. Have that day between SmackDown and the PLE. There will be no scoop show, obviously. The weekend of Italy. I will be doing a recap show the same time that I normally run scoops the day of Clash in Italy. So there will be no scoop show the last Sunday of May. I've already put that out there a couple of weeks ago. So there'll be one more next Sunday, and that'll close scoops for the month of May, and it'll be back the first Sunday in June. And also it's gonna run coherently to LFG recap until the LFG is over. But there will be no scoops the last Sunday of May. So you guys make sure to remember that. I've already told you guys. So I shouldn't get any DMs saying, "Oh, there's no scoops this weekend." Well, I told you guys like 2 weeks ago. I'm gonna tell you, I told you guys 2 weeks ago. So, but I'm gonna go ahead and open up Q&A early, because I have some things I need to do before the LFG recap. So I'm going to go ahead and open up Q&A early. I've been on for 47 minutes already. I know Q&A goes for a little while, so I'm gonna go ahead and open up Q&A, and give you guys an opportunity to ask some questions. So yeah, let's go ahead and get the Q&A started. I'm sure Fnatic has a shit ton of questions. So let's see. Could we see Naomi back in the summertime or the fall? I haven't heard anything about Naomi. I mean, timeline wise, I would say probably be closer to the fall or the beginning of the year, New Year, something like that. What happens to Jade and her baddies once she loses her rematch against Rhea? I don't know. That's a good question. If WWE is not gonna put the title on JC Jane, I guess they could have Rhea beat her, and that would set up the Jade and Charlotte and Jade and Alexa and all that. I just don't know if that's the way they're gonna go with it. I think that kind of defeats the whole purpose from WrestleMania. I don't know. Creatively, I mean, I guess they could feud with Fatal Influence. I don't know. There's a lot of, Jordan Grace, obviously. Blake Monroe, Tiffany Stratton. There's a lot of people on SmackDown that doesn't have huge storylines, so there's a lot of stuff they could do with that. Let's see. Is Los Scars leaving WWE or headed to AAA? I heard they're headed to AAA. So why is this company allergic to having their women's world champion defend their belt? Are they doing this to Liv on purpose? Yeah. Yep. They have nothing for Liv right now. Same thing they did with her when she had the title last time. She was stuck to Rhea. They're just they're creatively bankrupt in a lot of scenarios. So, do you think we'll see cities and states and countries sign more deals for TKO? Oh, I didn't even talk about that. Obviously, there's I know they're doing some house shows in the summer. That's obviously just something they're doing for the summer. I haven't been told they're back to doing that year round. I think it's just a summer thing. But I don't know. TKO is doing everything they can to make any amount of money they can. So, do you think we'll see cities and states and countries sign more deals for TKO to have Mania or SummerSlam in a city, state, country? I think anything is possible with TKO as far as where a PLE or a WrestleMania or a SummerSlam could be booked. So don't rule anything out with them. Do you think that Hunter Selby, the new director of show production and design for WWE, will help make stage design better for WWE? I'm hoping so. I don't know where you got that information about Hunter Selby, but it's definitely a good question, though. But I do believe so, for sure. Will 6 matches be the norm for PLE? I don't think there is a norm. I don't even know if we're getting 6 intern. I think I was told we're going to get 6, but it's not guaranteed. But there's no norm for PLEs with Triple H. He loves to do less is more. So I don't think we're going to get 6 every PLE. I don't. I wouldn't be surprised if we only get 5 in Turin, to be honest with you. Could we get 6? Yes, there's a lot of stuff they could put on the card, but they also have a Night of Champions show to book in June in Saudi Arabia. So they love booking the some top matches for Saudi Arabia. So obviously, another thing I forgot, I'm looking at my notes. Maxine Dupree, obviously everybody can see, it's put all over the internet. Eventually they're going to have her with Division. There's nothing else for her creatively right now, so it makes some sense to do that. We got a new viewer. What's going on? Miss Carey. Is Kevin Owens coming back soon? Yes, he will be back. I'm hearing before SummerSlam, so yeah, look for Kevin Owens to be coming back to SmackDown. Definitely need him back. Get him in there. Get him. I don't know what he's gonna do. But you know, if Sammy turns, I think I don't know. They're best friends, so they're not gonna keep them away from each other. But Kevin Owens is scheduled to come back to SmackDown soon. So appreciate the question. Is the plan for Ethan versus Javon for the IC title at SummerSlam? That's the end game. I would think so. I would think that's the ultimate plan. Yes. Ethan's gonna either win at Saturday Night's Main Event or he's gonna win at Night of Champions. One of the two. Whether it's a singles match or Saturday Night's Main Event, you know they don't like doing title changes there. So I don't know. I think this could roll over to that fatal 4-way. That way Penta doesn't have to be pinned, which makes a lot of sense. What happens to the women's tag division once Fatal Influence inevitably wins it? Will Bailey, Lara, and Charlexa disband? Yep. I don't know. They can't keep this women's tag division together. I don't think too terribly much longer, because there's just too many single stars that's caught up that needs to be let out and put back into some headline main event attraction type of matches. So, we got to get Shaw and Alexa out of the tag division, which everybody's enjoying them. I get it, but it's been over a year. It's been over a year since Charlotte's had a title match, which I know people are not crazy about that, but if they was to put the title back on Jade, or if they put the title on JC Jane, like, that's people that JC could face. There's a lot of people. I do think they're going to I do think it's a possibility that the Bellas and Paige don't drop the titles until they lose to Fatal Influence. So they keep talking about them, and obviously we know the push they're getting. So it wouldn't surprise me if Fatal Influence is not the one to take the tag titles off of Brie and Paige, which Nikki should be really close. I mean, we possibly could see Nikki Monday. Her and Liv been doing a lot of online banter. But Liv wants to do the whole dance routine that she did at WrestleMania at SummerSlam. So, like I said, they're just so creatively bankrupt right now with the way they're booking their champions. It's god awful. They just don't have shit for Liv to do, which makes no sense at all. Because she's, supposed to be one of your top stars. So, like I said, her last title reign was like this until they pull the trigger and have Roxanne turn. Then, this is what we're up for. So, what's next for Sammy? A partnership with Gargano, because it looks like it. Looks like that's where we're headed, and obviously the oblivious heel turn from Sammy. Will NXT lead the PC again for some weekly shows and PLEs in 2026? Possibly. But I wouldn't, they're in a rebuilding stage, but that doesn't mean anything. They're gonna try to put it on the map as much as they can. Like I said, so it's very possible. Could Roman and Jacob be Hell in a Cell in Italy? That's what I was told. That's what I was told. It's going to be Hell in a Cell. It's going to be a step Hell in a Cell or Not Quit, but I think it could be a Hell in a Cell. Yep, it's very possible. Which 100% that needs to close the show. So, like I said, I don't think Gunther's winning the title either. So, what's the difference between Liv's last reign where she was stuck to Rhea this time? She's stuck to Judgment Day? Nothing. No difference. WWE is creatively bankrupt right now with these champions. I know a lot of people don't like Cody, but a lot of it has to do with creative. Like it's just, it's not just Cody's shit. It's a lot of the champions. It's just there's no creative. They're creatively bankrupt. Unless it's something with the bloodline, they don't know what the hell they're doing. So, it's a terrible situation. I love how WWE is making the women's tag division mean something, but it's coming at the cost of the singles champions because the tag division hurting the singles division. Yep. That's exactly right. Where will this Chelsea Tippy storyline lead to? It won't last long, right? They're doing the same Charlotte Alexa storyline. They're gonna eventually end up being friends. It's just the whole Alexa Charlotte storyline all over again. Will Chelsea get more big opportunity because she's over with the fans? I love about the locker room because she turned baby. Yeah, I think she could turn babyface ultimately. I don't know about big opportunities. She could, but this is WWE we're talking about, so they're kind of stuck with the same people, and they're not gonna get away from that right now. So, could Rey Fenix win the AAA Cruiserweight title and War Raiders win the That's highly possible that they have Phoenix over in AAA. War Raiders, AAA. Yeah, I could see it. Do you think WWE will eventually try to make the tag division matter again and make up for the tag team departures? I don't have any hope for that. Truthfully, I don't. Will they aggressively scout tag teams from AEW, TNA, New Japan, NWA, MLW, and possibly raid the tag division to help and even call up some NXT? Man, I don't know. I don't think that they're going to put in too much effort on this tag team division on the men's or the women's side. I don't know. They're in a creative funk right now. Everybody wanted Road Dogg out of there. We got some new writers, and we're kind of stuck in this creative bunch of crap is what I want to call it with all these champions. So I don't have high hopes for either tag division. Could I see Baron Corbin back in WWE? I mean, possibly, but I don't think it's like etched in stone or anything. I guess if he came back, I would guess he would be good on SmackDown. I don't know. I haven't heard that he's officially coming back though, so really tough to say. Does the Dark State split happen on Tuesday? If it doesn't happen on Tuesday, it's coming because Saquon and my mind just went blank. Saquon Sugar and Deion Lennox are both scheduled to have like singles runs, so they're not winning the tag titles Tuesday. I can tell you that. So they're definitely not winning the tag titles. But I do think there's a possibility that Deion or Saquon could be the one to take the title off of Miles Bourne. We'll see. But they're both going to be pushed really strong as single stars. So, what's next for Royce Keys? He's going to be in a feud with the MFTs and Solo. Could we someday see Io and Nakura FKF, also known as Evil? I mean, could. He said the reasons why he signed with WWE was money, prestige, fame, whatever. Yeah, I mean, same reason everybody signs with WWE for some sort of, one of those three reasons. And I was told he also had there was no interest from AEW for Evil. So, kind of, I mean, there was other options, I'm sure, but to get us up on the main multimedia, and obviously EO's up there, so it makes a lot of sense. So Could we see more house shows increasingly returning to soon by TKO cutting it back? I mean, you could, but as of right now, I think this is just a summer thing, but you definitely could. What were exactly the changes made for Paddle Influence created because of how they're going with the crowd? Yeah, I mean, like I said, those reports come out after Fatal's been getting heavily booked. I don't really think I think maybe they're pushing up. Maybe they're pushing up when Laney and Fallon win the tag titles or when JC wins the women's championship from Rhea, but I think they were already headed in that direction anyway before the reports come out. I talked about it for a few weeks when they first came up, how they were being booked. So maybe they're pushing it up some is what I'm thinking. Do you think WWE will make a 6-man tag title because there has been a lot of I don't think so. Do you think Rhea's reign will be the only women's title reign to have great creative? I don't think. I mean, yeah, at this point in time, until they turn Roxanne and or Raquel against Liv, and we get some meat on the bone type of storylines for Liv, yeah. Are we almost close to Tama Tonga? Yeah, they still haven't paid that storyline off. Shinsuke and Tama be definitely working together, so they still haven't paid that off. I don't know when they're going to pay that off. I thought we were already going to see that, but they're in a creative funk right now, so it's not really surprising. Maxine Dupree debuting as a member of the Vision at Saturday Night's Main Event, helping them win and retain the tag. Could she be a ballet or a wrestler in the Vision or both? She could be both. I don't know. I mean, that makes sense for her to debut on Saturday Night's Main Event. They love to do shit like that. I don't personally think that the Street Profits are winning at Saturday Night's Main Event. I think they're winning the tag titles. I just don't think it's going to happen at Saturday Night's Main Event. But we could definitely see Maxine debut there. But I think when she does, she's going to be a little bit of both. Because she's going to basically be a Paul Heyman girl at that point. So, any updates on NXT Global? I haven't heard anything on the NXT Global. I will ask again about that. I know you asked me that last week, but it's been a lot going on for me. So, I was only able to get in some meat on the bone type questions. I have that in my notes, and I will ask before. I will try to get that answer before next Sunday's show. Do you wish for more great storylines that don't need a title? I think we all do as fans. Did you see Pat McAfee and Cody together at the Disney up front so that Mania 42 storyline was all for nothing? Could Pat be? No, Pat's not coming back. I mean, that's WWE for you. Same thing they did with him and Rock. No payoff. It's just forget about it type storyline. So I did see it, and I'm not surprised. Could Cody finally turn heel at Clash of Italy? I don't think it happens in Italy. I don't think it's going to happen until he drops the title. I'm just going to give my honest opinion. I don't think it happens until he drops the title because I do think that he's going to drop it to Randy. So I don't think it happens until he drops the title. I don't think it's happening in Italy. Could you see Cody in the Vision? No. I don't think Cody's going to be in the Vision. Good question, though. Not a terrible scenario, but I don't think so. Could we see Julia versus Tiffany for the U.S. title in Italy? If so, could it be on the Countdown show? Possibly, yeah. I do think it's happening in Italy. I do think they're getting Julia on the card, and that's really the only way to get her on the card. Don't put her in a tag title match with 5 different tag teams. Don't do that. Get Julia and Tiffany. Let her get the support she deserves from the Italians. She has an Italian heritage and all that, so let her have that big moment in Italy. But she ain't winning the title there, but, Why are they so bankrupt? Why can't they take risks? Because it's TKO and it's Triple H. Could JC vs. Rio happen sooner than Night of Champions? I don't think so. Oh, I don't think it happens sooner than Night of Champions. I don't. Could Fatal Influence be involved in the 6-woman tag match at Saturday Night's main event? Yeah, I think so. I think we could see them get involved with that. I do. The plans for Carmen officially kicked off on Evolve, her winning against Nikita on Wednesday. Again, I'm so proud for Carmen this summer. Going to be big for her. Yep. I already told you that last week. Could Lola versus Kalani be for the NXT Women's title happen soon? It could, but I think Lola's first feud is going to be with Izzy. So ultimately, I don't think Lola's dropping the title until she loses it to Kendall Gray, though. I think that's the big long-term plan for the women's title in NXT. Well, I must be on the SmackDown brand. Yep. He's going to be with Danhausen. And you could see Almost and Danhausen win the tag titles. You absolutely could. Don't rule it out. When could we see El Hijo de Vikingo move up to Raw? SmackDown? I haven't heard anything about Vikingo and when he may be coming up. Triple A is all I've been told about him as of right now. So, why are they creatively bankrupt? And how are NXT and Triple A the only good consistent show to get created? Because Triple H ain't running now. That's why. That's exactly why. They're just creatively bankrupt. Like, they put all their eggs in these, in these baskets of people that have been at the top for a long time, whether it's Roman, whether it's Cody, until they put these world titles on a Royce Keys or a Jacob or an Obafemi, then they're not passing the torches of these big titles to these young stars. Until we see them doing that, it's because they need to make money. TKO is still in the negative. So, and they're just not gonna do it. They're just not. They have to have these same stars that we always see, win the title or lose the title and win it back because, numbers are down, or ratings are down, whatever. Like, it's ridiculous. If Drew moves to Raw, who can we see from Raw to SmackDown? I don't know. I don't think we would get a Punk. I think Punk could possibly be the one that moved to SmackDown. I don't think it makes any sense to keep seeing Punk on Raw right now. There's just way too much. He's already feuded with Drew. He's already feuded with Seth. He's already feuded with Roman. I do think eventually we're going to get Punk Cody. I don't think it happens probably till WrestleMania, but move Punk over to SmackDown. Let Punk have some matches over, feuds over there. I think that makes the most sense. 45. Could we see a Sheamus Oba feud turn into a storyline? Possibly. I've heard that he's definitely one of the names being mentioned. So, do you see open challenges only work if it's perfect? I don't think it's a great idea at all together, and I don't think it's the right idea for Oba at all. I mean, he had to go backstage last week and drag the Garzas all the way out to the ring. That's terrible. Would you be surprised if Roman drops the title Oba? Yeah. At SummerSlam, I don't think it's happening at SummerSlam. I don't think Roman's dropping the title until the end of the year, close to the beginning of the year. TKO is just not gonna do it. They're just not. Could Leon Slater be WWE bound? Yep. I literally was gonna put that in the notes, but I forgot. That is a good question. Yep. Bayley and Carmella reunited. Could we see talks between I don't know if it's the next few weeks, but Carmella, we're gonna see her back in WWE 100%. Could Lola, Kalani, Jada, Tatum, Izzy, and maybe Tony D be the ones caught up? Could Hank and Tank? Hank and Tank is a possibility. I think we're gonna see them on AAA though, personally. But we need them. We need tag teams. Lola is a yes. Kalani is a yes. Jada is a yes. Tatum, I know Izzy worked the dark match. I saw the stuff with her and Otis, but I don't know if Izzy's getting caught up right now. They can't just gut the entire roster, so there's going to be a couple of them come up, but I don't think all five or 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't think all five of them come up. They're gonna eventually all be up, but I don't think they pulled all five of them up at the one time. That's just too much on the women's roster on NXT. They don't have enough left to pull all five of them up to the main roster right now. If these call-ups happen, will this open up more opportunities for those stuck in NXT catering and evolve? Yes. Why does WWE hate tag team wrestling? WWE hates wrestling, period, right now. I have no hope for creative until I see some major changes, honestly. What did these tag teams do to deserve us? Just, it is what it is. What did Lyra do to deserve where she is right now? She deserved better. What are they going to do with her? I mean, they had her with an IC title reign. Obviously, she could challenge Liv. I think that's a credible opponent for Liv, but they're just not going to do it since they're stuck in a big rut right now. Could WWE bring back pre-show matches? They already brought back house shows. I haven't been told anything about pre-show matches. I mean, we're going to see the maybe 1 or 2 match on ESPN for free, but I think that's as far as they're going to go with that right now. Are we going to get Evolution again? We need it. That was the best PLE last year. I was told we are going to get another Evolution. Yankees girl. OTM is still the end game to the throne of Vanity Project for the tag titles. Yep. I love their interview segment with the NXT new reporter, Emily Agard. Yes. I told you that several weeks ago. OTM is a big plan is a long-term plan for the NXT titles, tag title. Will we see more WWE stars sign for money, regardless of creative? No, I don't know about that. But some will, yes. Some don't give a shit about the creative. They just want the money and the high media exposure from ESPN and TKO. Some care about the creative, some don't. Why didn't Tony Khan want Evil? I don't know. I don't have any AEW sources. I just was told that there was no offer made from them. Could we see USA eventually make SmackDown 3 hours permanently? I don't think so. I think it's going to stay on the same contract that it's on right now. 6 on and 6 off, or 8 on, or 4 on and 8 off, something like that. I don't think it's going permanent to 3 hours. I don't think it needs to. When the USA contract expires, to SmackDown move to Netflix? I don't know if it's going to expire, but if it does, when it does, I could see everything going on Netflix. But I would be surprised if SmackDown leaves USA, though, but we'll see when the contract's up. Do you enjoy the early 6 p.m. Eastern start times? I do. I personally enjoy those a lot better. Updates on Hero Mode Takahashi. I have not got any word back. I did ask that one. I haven't heard anything back on Hero Mode yet. Hopefully have that one answered by next week as well. Will this creative funk end once Rock and Roman happens? Because that should be the time to move on. Yes. That's the original plan. I don't know, if something comes up with the Rock schedule, that could change. But as of what I was told, that's where they want Mania 43 to go. So when are the Usos getting the tag team titles back? They should have never lost it at the Garden. That's a really good question, because when Roman won the title, I was told, I didn't think it was going to be long before the Usos get the tag titles and the Bloodline are holding all the titles, but it looks like they've moved away from that. Because I do think Roman is going to eventually face one of the Usos. I don't know if it's going to be Jimmy or Jay. I think it's possibly going to be Jay, but I don't know. I thought that was exactly where they were going, was the Bloodline was going to hold all the big titles on Raw again, just like the old days, but I don't think that's what they're doing with them at this point in time. I think Oba versus Royce Keys would be a great feud. I do too, but we're not. I don't think we're gonna see that anytime soon. Oba Roman is ultimately the end goal, or not the end goal, but I think that's where he drops it. He drops the title. It's going to be to Oba. I can't think of anybody else that's going to take the title off of him on Raw. So I don't know when that happens. Like I said, I think it could go to the end of the year or possibly, all the way to Royal Rumble or something like that. They're going to give Roman a long reign, though. Could we see the Ricky Dragunov program feud soon? Dragunov is set to return very, very soon. So that's very possible. We're going to see Dragunov and Trick too as well. Is the favorite for Gunther from Heyman the title match at Clash? I want you to shut down the rumors that he's saying Brock is coming back because Brock is retired. He's still on the alumni page, so I mean, I don't want to say it's not going to happen because that was the original plan, was for Gunther to retire him at Summer. That is the favorite of the world title match, but for Gunther. But are we gonna see? Could Brock make a decision to come back and fight in his hometown of Minneapolis for SummerSlam? Oh, 100% he could. And if he does, it's definitely going to be against Gunther. So that's ultimately up to Brock. I can't shut down anything because I don't know. I think it's possible. I don't want to rule it out and say it's not, because it's a possibility. What happens to the Miz and Kid if Amos and Danhausen team up together? They get obliterated. Do fans realize that running NXT creative main roster creative are very different? So that's why we see Triple H get criticized, and I understand it. Yep. They need to make a change at the top, but they won't. Has SmackDown's women division surpassed Raw in quality? I think, 100%. 1,000,000%. I think the call-up should happen gradually, not all at once. That's what I love to see. I'm not calling for all of them to happen to be called up at once. Yeah, I agree. Who do you think Trick is going to lose the title to and win? That's a really great question. I don't think Trick's dropping the title anytime soon. I was told he's going to have a really lengthy reign with the U.S. title. If he is going to drop the title, it won't be until at least at the earliest would be SummerSlam against Carmelo. Eventually when he drops the title, it's going to be to Carmelo. Now, is he going to beat Carmelo? Possibly. They do want that title on Trick for a while. So, but when he does drop, I think it's going to be to Carmelo. That I don't think they're just going to have one match. Triple H never does that. So, Trick's really over. So they want a title on him for a while. So, he's definitely not dropping before SummerSlam at the earliest, and I don't think he even drops then. How can I join your Discord? Can you send me a link in the DMs? Yep. Could we see Keanu Carver, Mason Rook, or Cam Hendricks as the one to the throne? Tony D? It will be one of those three. I still believe it's Keanu Carver, though. Could Nikita and Zarya get involved on Tuesday because Zarya was the women's North American title and Nikita's done with Lizzie? Yep. 100%. When will we see King and Queen of the Ring announced? Should be really soon. And I think Oba wins the King of the Ring. What's going on, Bobby? Good to see you. Yeah, if you guys are watching live on YouTube, which most of you guys are that are doing the question, please make sure you hit the like button on the stream. Appreciate you, Bobby. Could this Natty Jada program help Jada? Yes, Natty. I said this last week on Scoop. Natty obviously went and asked for this particular feud with Jada. So yes, it's gonna be a big thing for Jada. So I'm all for it. Natty is definitely puts back to the younger stars, which I think is phenomenal. Could we see Trick move up to the world title scene once he drops? Yep. I believe so. I don't think it's going to be anytime soon, though. Last thing, what's next for Jasper Troy? Is he still competing with the Vanity Project? Are they making new plans for him? I haven't heard any new creative plans for Jasper Troy as of now. No new creative plans for Jasper Troy yet, right now, but that don't mean they won't. They're still very high on Jasper, so. And other than that, thanks for another great show. We'll see you next Sunday and on the prediction show. And appreciate you as well. Forgot to add, could Natty go after the women's IC? It's highly possible once Sol Ruka wins it. She ain't going to win it, but yeah. What do you think of Tristan Angels being the #1 contender for Aaron Rourke's WWE Evolve? I think it's great. I think I even talked about that said that it was going to happen on Scoops last week on Sunday. So, other than that, thanks for another great show. See you next week. Thank you guys. Make sure you guys hit that like button on the stream. My dream match is Roman versus Trick. Trick has said so many times how Roman is a dream match. I hope we get it. I mean, you're definitely going to get it at some point. Before Roman calls it, like I said, Roman just signed a new deal, so like it's not like he's leaving. You're definitely gonna get Roman and Trick. But I don't think that, I don't think Trick's dropping that title anytime soon. So, Oba's gonna be the one to take the title off of Roman. So, I just don't know when they're gonna do it. I don't think it happens before the end of the year, to be honest with you. Is Chantel Monroe complete? I don't have the card for LFG. I've seen Bailey Humphries and Nikita, but I don't know of any other matches. But I know she's on LFG though for sure. And thank you for coming in, Yankees girl. Like I said, appreciate you coming in. We have a show every Sunday, and I do open up the Q&A for as long as the questions are open. So, all right, so. I don't know, Bobby. I'll find out when you do. I haven't been able to look at the LFG card for tonight yet. So, all right, guys. So that is it. Well, would you like to see Jackson Drake and John Cena Classic, and who should be the opponent? I think he's going to be in the Classic. Opponent. That's tough. Maybe Jackson Drake and Penta. I don't know. I mean, there's so many. He's so small though. I don't know. Jackson Drake and Dominic, Jackson Drake and Finn. I would love to see that. Jackson Drake and Finn. Maybe Dominic and Jackson Drake. I'd love to see that. But I think he's going to be in the Classic for sure. They're very high on Jackson Drake. All right, so that's it, guys, for the Sunday Night Scoop episode number 21. I'm gonna go to my outro. Thank you to everybody. Obviously, I'll do my shout outs at the end. Ray Phoenix. Yes, I think that's a good idea as well. I'm gonna go ahead and go to the outro. Once I'm back, I will tell you guys where you can find me on my socials and what I have coming up for the rest of this week. And once again, thank you to everyone that came in. And shout out to everyone from DWE. Obviously, don't forget to follow DWE Television on X and Talk It Up Podcast on YouTube. After the Slam Podcast, Smoke the Sessions. Make sure you tune in to the Rundown tomorrow with the World of Greg and Kyle and Matt Anthony. Director Reg. After the Slam, I've already said the Smoke Session Podcast as well. And everyone from Gimmick Table Media. All right, I'm going to go ahead and go to the outro and my thank yous to you guys. And I'll tell you guys where you can find me on my socials and what I have coming up next.
Wrestling has more than one royal family.
There are a lot of podcasts out there, but only one with this kind of energy.
Welcome to EVP Show Recaps Predictions Sports. Let go, Show Recaps Predictions Sports.
In one podcast.
Welcome to EVP Show Recaps Predictions Sports. Let go.
Thanks for joining the EVP CJP. Tune in next Sunday at 6 p.m.
Thanks for coming to Sunday Night Scoops, hosted by the Golden Boy of DWE CJP. See you all next Sunday at 6 p.m.
All right. Thank you guys once again for coming into Sunday Night Scoops, episode number 21. This is almost 3 months into Sunday Night Scoops. So thank you guys so much. Make sure you hit the like button on the stream. And if you're already subscribed, hit that notification bell and come join me when I go live. As far as where you can find me on my socials, scrolling across the bottom of the screen, all my links are in my bios. All my links are pinned to all of my social media platforms. On X, you can find me at EBPCJP. My YouTube account is pinned at the top of my X page at the very top. On Instagram, you can find me at the same handle at EBPCJP as well. It's a business account. I don't post anything but the videos that are made for me by Miami and Greg for the upcoming streams, but my YouTube link is pinned on my Instagram. So you guys can follow me there. TikTok is at Brady the Goat 21. It's at BRADYDA Goat 21. That's obviously the same thing as Instagram. It's only a promotion page for the upcoming streams. And last but not least, most importantly, please hit the like and subscribe button on my YouTube channel. Like I said, if you can't find it on any of my social media platforms, I wish you should be able to if you follow me on any of these platforms. But if you can't, you go to the search bar, type in at the EVP show, and you will see a shit ton of lives, over 900, a bunch of shorts, and obviously a couple of pre-recorded. So, yes, and if you are subscribed, and if you see it at the top of my X page, share with your friends if they love the Scoop Show and stuff like that, or any of the daily wrestling content that I put out. Share it with your friends, and try to help me get to 300 subscribers by SummerSlam. So thank you for that. What I have coming up next, I will be back at 11:30 p.m. Eastern tonight for LFG Season 3, Episode number 4 recap show. And Monday night, tomorrow night, I'm back at 11 p.m. Eastern time for your Raw recap show. Tuesday night, it's NXT title Tuesday again, 10:30 p.m. Eastern time. Join me for the NXT recap show. And Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Eastern, I will be live with 9 others as we do the Saturday night main event prediction show. Join all of us. It's not a full match card, so it should go pretty quick. But join me and 9 others Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Eastern for the Saturday night main event prediction show. And Thursday night, I'm back again for the TNA recap show live at 11:30 p.m. Eastern time. Friday night, come back, as I think we're getting close to the last 3-hour SmackDown for a while. So join me at 11:30 p.m. Eastern time for the SmackDown recap show. And then Saturday, when Saturday night's main event is over, join me at between 10:15 and 10:30 p.m. Eastern time for the Saturday night's main event recap show. And join me next Sunday for Doubleheader Sunday again, and the last Sunday night scoop of the month of May. First starting at 6 p.m. Eastern for Sunday night scoops with the EVP, episode number 22, but will be the last one for the month of May. But come back later on that night after that and join me at 11:30 p.m. Eastern time for the LFG Season 3, Episode 5 recap show. With that being said, thank you to all of you guys who came in, Bobby, Fanatic, and Yankees Girl, but the ones that posted all the questions. And I will see you guys obviously next Sunday for the last Sunday night scoop of the month of May. I appreciate you guys and all the questions and support. And with that being said, I will see you guys tonight at 11:30 p.m. Eastern time for the LFG Season 3 Episode 4 recap show. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Come back tonight and join me for the LFG Season 3 Episode 4 recap show. I am the EVP from the EVP show and the Golden Boy of DWE, and DWE is the place to be. Good night, everyone. But don't forget to come back and join me tonight live for at least a 30-minute recap of LFG Season 3 Episode number 4. If not, I will see you guys tomorrow night at 11 p.m. Eastern time for the Raw recap show. That being said, you guys have a good Sunday, and I will see you guys either tonight or tomorrow night live here on the EVP show. Thanks again.